Hello, this is Reasons Are Several bonus episode volume 5. My name is Matt. We hope you enjoyed last week's in-person episode. We had a lot of fun recording that one, as well as an episode of Dark Angels and Pretty Freaks. So if you'd like to hear me on Neil's other podcast, go check out episode 186 at darkangelsandprettyfreaks.com. I want to once again thank Neil and Unreleased for such an awesome trip. They're great people, so hospitable, so entertaining. I had a blast. And I appreciate the effort Neil had to go through to get me to the airport despite all the Napa fires, which was pretty crazy. And our thoughts and prayers go out to all those who lost family, friends, or their home in that disaster. I also want to give a shout out to 90 and Mr. Chubbs for putting up with me as a house guest. I look forward to going back for another visit sometime soon. Today, we're back to some previously unreleased content from last spring. We'll have a couple more bonus episodes to close out October and then start with all new episodes in November. If you want to reach out to us, you can find us on Twitter at ReasonsR, and Neil is at AngelsFreak7. Please go subscribe and review us on iTunes and tell a friend about the show. In this week's bonus episode, we talk about the future of relationships, sex bots who make you earn it, dildo cameras, condom wine, the things we say after we bone down, and more. As you can tell, it's a very G-rated episode, so listen accordingly. We're not going to talk about sex bots this week.
Why?
Because I do have
sex
one.
bots?
I do have one in the queue, but
Nice.
I thought, you know what? We'll cover it next week. It's pretty creepy. Annalise sent it to me. I'd already actually found it. She sent it to me. I'm like, yeah, I actually found this one already. It's like every damn week there's a new angle on the sex bot industry.
That's the
that
glory
of them.
For
some reason feel like I need to talk about. I don't know why.
Check out the new angles with sex bots.
It's a bit of a doozer. We'll push it out to next week though. We'll talk about that next week. So I apologize to all you sex bot fans out there. But this story that I wanted to share it's actually from 3 years ago, but it was just tweeted out. So I was like, oh yeah, this is a cool story. And then I looked at the date on it and it was 3 years old. So I was like, well, okay, well, you know what? Let's review it anyway because it's kind of an interesting topic. And we can see if anything's changed in the last 3 years that kind of goes along with this. It's called The Future of Relationships. And here's the blurb. Sex bots. So boom, and instantly. Instant online breakups. Cosplay dating. Teledildonics, which is a great term.
What? I'm in.
Teledildonics. How great would it be to be like, hi, I'm Matt. I'm the president of the Teledildonics division. A lot of aspects of sex, dating, and breaking up could look very different in the future than they have in the past. This comes from Terry Young of the trend spotting shop Sparks and Honey, great name, who offers up some intriguing ideas about relationships in 2025. So this was 3 years ago, so we're a lot closer now. So this is only 8 years away. Based on 3 macro trends: that technology is speeding up how we interact, that unconventional relationships are becoming more accepted, boy, that's true, and that kink, i.e. or e.g. porn, is going mainstream.
Which is kind of also true.
It's very true. So they offer a lot of different things here that we're going to see. So I want to kind of run through them really quickly and you tell me what you think. Microbial matchmaking. This is a really interesting concept. Projects like 23andMe and YouBioMe, I guess is how you pronounce that, reveal our personal genetics and microbial. Am I saying that right? Microbial?
Yeah.
Okay. Makeups. The logical upshot, a service that matches us with someone with complementary genes and gut. After all, who wants to be with someone who isn't biomically simpatico? That's fucking weird.
Yeah, I also think a lot of this stuff will be people that, because there's so many people that are mixed race now and mixed ethnicities, that there's going to be some jackholes that are like, no, I want to make sure my husband or wife is this, whatever this is.
So and this is a tool for racists, is what you're saying?
Yeah, and it's
race purists.
Yes, and so I wouldn't be surprised if in the future people are saying, yeah, well, no, I want to see your makeup, your genetic
code.
Yeah,
right. God damn it. It's kind of along the lines of like Gattaca. Did you ever see that movie?
No.
Yeah. God damn it. I love how you say, yeah. It's exactly like that, Matt.
Yeah, it's totally like that.
That's a pretty good movie.
I've wanted to do.
Speaking of Jude Law.
I've wanted to do the, whatchamacallit. Gattaca's Jude Law or Ethan Hawke?
It was Ethan Hawke and Jude Law.
Because I know it was filmed.
And
my sister saw
Uma.
part of it being filmed because it was filmed at the Civic Center. Part of it was filmed at the Civic Center in Marin County.
Oh, that's cool.
The Frank Lloyd Wright
it's an
building.
Interesting movie. It's a very dystopian type deal. So it's interesting. Go ahead.
I've wanted to do my sending out and finding out what my true the DNA profile and find out where my family's from or where I'm from. It'd be neat.
You got to have deep Italian roots, right? Isn't that
Yeah.
kind of isn't Argentina big time Italian base? Right?
Italian and Nazi. It's true.
Lovely.
Yeah, that's great.
So you and I could be related.
Well, we all, if you think about the beginning of man, we are actually all related.
Sure.
So
I meant the.
But we
Italian
could be
side.
cousins.
Could.
Yeah. Or lovers.
Not kissing.
Will
cousins.
will it tell you that if we're lovers?
I
Will my
don't think
DNA
it
say
will.
that? That'd be
I don't think
hilarious.
the DNA
Here's a
determines
list of
that.
your lovers. You're like, that's weird.
That's weird. Quantified relationships. In the future, we'll be quantifying not only ourselves, but our relationships. The use of wearable technologies bleeding over into the way we interact with each other. Sex and relationships are fertile new frontiers for measurement. Big data provides insights into why relationships work and fail. So does that mean that you're basically going to have data that somehow outlines how good your relationship is going, how well you're interacting, and
I would think kind of like that the was it the cock ring or the condom, the icon?
the icon performance?
But
condom?
think of that with a bunch of other things, like, when you're speaking, whether it's done through your phone or some other wearable technology, when you're speaking to your spouse or girlfriend or boyfriend, and they also have the wearable technology, it senses like your heart rate and heat and this and that and theirs, and it tells you like, oh, they're not happy with this conversation, they are happy with this conversation. It all that plus your icon and your freaking everything else gets put into a number, and then you get a 73, and then you rate against your friends. You're like, oh, my relationship's at a 73.
Well, yeah, you have to compare, as always.
Yeah.
But I would hope that rating is just constantly available. So it's like, you guys are on a 70, and then I'm like, hey, dipshit, go make me some eggs. And it's like,
you're at a
and I'm like
32.
52.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And what's interesting too is I think as more technology comes out, it's easier for people to keep tabs on their partners. Like now phones are like an electric leash. Like if your wife or you need to get a hold of your husband or your kids or whatever, I mean, it's right there. Mm-hmm. And now like you can check like, well, where, with the search for the phone thing, it's like, well, where is this person? Where, like, I can do it with my mom. So I know just in case she falls in a ditch, I can find her.
I can do it with your mom too. Oh, I'm sorry.
Right. Everyone has.
Whoa.
That's why I need to know my genetic makeup.
That started here and it made it all the way to the mouth. I didn't mean to.
It made it to somewhere else too, if you know what I'm saying. Backcourt violation.
Well, and it's funny. It's like, I mean, even down to like the iMessage function of iPhones.
You see when they're...
Sometimes you see it'll be red.
Yeah.
Like, why aren't you responding? You read the message, which
Yeah.
is real creepy because I've always turned off, like, whenever people say, like, a read receipt has been sent with this email, I'm like, fuck no.
No, me
I
too.
didn't tell them when I read this mail.
But I think what it does too is I think it might, give in to or make people's insecurities or fears greater, because all of a sudden, you're used to being in constant contact with that person, and now you didn't hear from them for 4 or 5 hours, and you can't get a hold of them. And I don't mean like, oh, they're off cheating, but it's just like, oh my God, where are you? What's wrong?
It allows your
what
mind
happened?
to race.
Yeah. And it's so funny because, I mean, I think about it all the time. It's before we had phones and texting, it's like you'd actually go to work and not talk to anybody until you got off work or could make a phone call.
Right. Of course. It was so different.
So
see, here we go with the old man's talk again. But it's true because, you there wasn't an instant connection anywhere.
No.
There was just, it'd be like, I'm going out tonight to do this. You cannot reach me.
No.
Like, I'm going to be out at a restaurant or going out to these different places. I'll just see you when I get home.
Right.
That's it.
Or like with your friends, and it's like, okay, well, after football practice, it was like, that was it. You were going to see him the next day at school. If you had a question about homework, it was like, well, I guess I'll talk to him tomorrow,
Right. It was wonderful.
It was. But I do think all this stuff is going to get to where our relationships are ranked and based and eventually it's good. And then what's going to happen is like the social media with famous people, it's going to be like, oh, their relationship's a 98. It's like, no, how are they, and then it's going to make
jealousy seeps in.
Well, and it's going to make people feel
even
more inadequate, because now it's like, well, not only am I not skinny enough or not tall enough or not the right or wrong color or ethnicity, now I can't have a relationship that's good enough. So you'll meet a nice guy or girl and you're in the freaking 80s or whatever, and which is maybe considered perfectly happy and you're happy, but it's not an 85. And
Right. You're comparing yourself to other couples. You're getting jealous. Then also you're doing things where you're like, well, I actually thought I was happy, and it's telling me my relationship score is only 68. Why would it say that?
it's like the craziest mood ring ever.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
We got a bunch more here. I'll roll through these.
Sorry,
No, that's okay. Formula One flirting. Location-based communication services like Vine, Snapchat, and Grindr will proliferate, letting people. Well, Vine won't proliferate.
Yeah, Vine's done.
Letting people find a like-minded match more easily and meet instantaneously. Technology is allowing every aspect of flirting to be localized and be location-based. The rise of instant gratification social media platforms have turned courtship into a sped-up process, which is a real interesting thought.
Mm-hmm.
To be like, hey, who's in the house? Who's around?
Right. One of the things that I also think that a lot of this instant flirting and instant meeting of people and speeding up the courtship process, I think one of the things it's doing is it's making us view people how we want to view them as opposed to who they really are. You know, people will text and you flirt and people sext and all this stuff. And it's so not what life and who the person is. I think people build up like this dream person, like, oh, they're saying all this stuff in 140 characters or in a text. And when we're together, it's going to be just like this, not realizing, well, no, because now the person has to get out of a car and walk towards you. And what if you don't like how they walk or they have a funky limp or
there's this image in their head they build up of what the person's going to be like, and it's false.
Yeah.
Because it's just a representation of what they've created, much like the person has created themselves to say, I want to project myself as this.
Right.
So I can. Now I have to go, like, she's at my house and I got to go take a shit. Like, real life things are going to happen now.
Right.
And it's not going to be just the little dream world we created via text message.
Yeah. Or she gets a text with some bad news and her response is just so over the top or so not what how you think. So, you know, she's like, oh, fuck this shit. And you're like, whoa, that's not how I thought, you know.
Right. Or she's like, oh, that's so gay. And you're like, oh,
yeah.
no.
You go to a restaurant and the person, she orders a salad and the salad comes and it's got chicken and she didn't want chicken and she just unloads on the frickin' poor wait person, you know, and you're like, whoa, that's weird.
Yeah.
And I think it's unfair because, you know, there's a person, you know, there are people like that find their matches. And I think this takes the human side out of it and it just makes it an image.
Well, that's why
I'm okay with image only. I'm just saying.
Of course. I that's why I think some of those dating services, the value of them is having just enough contact to see if there's an interest to go out and meet in person.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all. It's just an avenue to get together and then you go from there.
Right.
Versus, you know, having the entire relationship built online and then have to see what it's like in person.
Right. Yeah.
So anyway, I mean, but it works for people.
Oh,
you know?
Sure. And it's part of how our society and culture and human nature and humanity is evolving. You know, eventually we'll have machines in us and not just, you know, in the backcourt. It'll be like,
and we'll be in machines.
That's right.
Oh, sorry. I said we weren't going to talk about sex bots.
Sex bot, baby.
Siri as a sex surrogate. The movie Her depicts a man falling in love with an advanced operating system. It sounds sci-fi, but Young believes that sentient, artificially intelligent entities could start to compete for our affections. Here we go.
Yeah.
There are also going to be more physical sex surrogates to take care of our needs. Men in Japan already have virtual girlfriends. And as we've discussed ad nauseum on this show in the bonus segment, things are popping up everywhere with brothels and different, you know, online purchasing options for you to, you know, kind of have essentially a little sex tool that's not a human being.
Yeah. And it reminds me of people that become very attached to their animals. And then that's kind of becomes not the sex part, but that just kind of becomes, that becomes almost their social interaction. You know,
yeah.
Mr. Chubbs.
Keep talking quickly.
Mr. Chubbs can get it on. But
you might want to get to the end of this quickly.
But that becomes their social interaction, and they don't bust out of that because they become so attached to this little furry thing that's not human. And now, I think this is going to happen. If you have like those little Boston Dynamic robots, if I had one of those and I named it and it had some sort of artificial intelligence that followed me around, I'd be treating it like I do my regular dogs. You know,
when kick it?
Don't kick that thing. It's weird. It's you know, I don't like that part.
The lines start to blur. between reality and artificial. Long distance foreplay, technology allowing us to stimulate each other remotely will be normal. It's already available. Full-on sex bot stand-ins can't be much further away. Virtual reality innovations will allow unparalleled sex experiences.
Well, they have
kind of piggybacking on that.
They have vibrators and sex toys now that you can run on Wi-Fi and through your phone. So like if your wife is wearing it at work, you can control it.
There was a whole thing on this, like, God damn it, 10 or 12 years ago with some guys in England, football players, soccer players. They would text. You basically were texting somebody, and when their phone would vibrate, that would get you off or whatever, get you excited knowing that's the person texting you is making that vibration.
Right.
That's the most simplest form of that.
Right.
So crazy stuff. Porn program minds.
All right.
Men and women have become so overstimulated by the abundance of porn that it's hard for them to perform sexually, or their relationships become like porn. That could lead to backlash like the movement Make Love Not Porn that Cindy Gallup is trying to foster, or detox services that wash our minds of skin-on-skin imagery. That shit sounds like fucking Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, that's weird.
Or something sadder. Large numbers of men are no longer physically attracted to human women.
Yeah, well, see, this is the thing, like where the sex bots for some people, freak me out is because, all of a sudden you can create what you think a woman should be.
Including elf ears.
Whatever. Whatever. And then all of a sudden, it's like a real, you're like, oh no, I don't want to deal with you.
Yeah, see.
This thing doesn't, and it could go for women too. They'd be like, I don't want to deal with your dumb, stinky ass.
Right.
This thing's always clean, ready, and leaves me the hell alone.
Right, and gets me going every time.
Yeah.
It doesn't get whiskey dick.
Right. when it's just drinking water.
6-second breakups. That sounds like a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
The most intimate moments of our lives will become snack media. Oh, this guy's referencing a Vine, which is always a bad thing. I'm going to skip that one.
But real quick, this is already happening. Younger people break up now via text, and it's like, we're done.
Just boom.
We're done.
Well, that's the easy way out. Some would call it a bit cowardly.
Yeah.
I mean, we used to get. I have broken up with a girl or two or more over the phone and felt bad about it because there was. In those cases, most of the time it was because
she was like, I am downstairs. What are you doing?
I tell her to go in the next room, pick up.
Yeah.
But the best part is we're on the same line. So it's the dial tone and then it starts going beep, 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 beep. I can't hear you. I'm breaking up with you.
Yeah. Hold on a second. It'll stop.
Yeah. Eventually it'll just stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, and why wouldn't it? Relationships are starting that fast and that electronically. Why wouldn't they end the same way?
Yeah, if you don't have that human connection to the person, you don't feel
like you owe it to them.
No.
This is how we started. Let's finish this way. Revenge analytics. You've heard of revenge porn. Revenge analytics is the geeky cousin. Mining material to get back at exes will be easy going forward. It's people using online forensics to uncover dirt. Everyone leaves a digital footprint. Here's where we're talking about your surveillance and tracking and all those things. This is where it can come back to haunt you big time because all of a sudden you got a cuckoo girlfriend, you break up, and the next thing you know, she's just slandering you all over the fucking place with all this crazy information that's left out there from you.
Or going back to the wearable stuff, you have all that stuff and it shows like, oh, if you look here, every Saturday he was a 42 because he was always hungover. He's an idiot. And so sending it to, putting it on your Facebook page or whatever. Right. And it's like, and you have these, no, he sucks. He, this is what his icon said, his average was 3.4 minutes.
Right. Right. And so you're there's a lot of shame that's coming onto you, and also it can affect your fucking career.
Sure.
All those things can happen.
Yeah.
This next one is great.
Mm-hmm.
Artisanal dildos.
I'm in.
With better 3D printing, which still freaks me out, sex toys will become printable. We'll be able to, and this is where it gets real interesting. We'll be able to create replicas of our partners.
Mm-hmm.
Or shape mementos of relationships that have ended. Custom and artisanal, which is so hard to read that without saying artist, anal, sex toys will take on a whole new dimension. That would be fucking weird. Like, Annalise is like, let's get a Neil Dick dildo. I want it exactly like his member.
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah?
Yeah.
think that would be good for the long distance relationship.
For sure. I think it's, I think you can have fun with it. You can make like a mini version. You can, I mean, I
like
think
put on your keychain?
Yeah. Keep it on your desk at work.
Hang it from your rearview mirror.
Yeah. I think that's kind of neat. But then it's that weird part where you're like, you can have one made of your lover. Like Annalise is seeing some other dude and is like, oh, man. Then she's like, hey, let's use this tonight. And you think it's like, oh yeah. And really.
And
yeah.
then she's using it as a strap on. And she's like, Tom's fucking you right now.
That's
like,
right.
Whoa.
Well,
What?
TB12, that's fine.
Right.
Only
him.
If she's dating TB12 and she's got his strap-on likeness, because I heard he's starting a line of those.
He's got a scent already. So
no backcourt violation.
No, that's not a backcourt violation. It's welcome.
3 in the key, if you know what I'm saying.
And finally, love impact metrics linked to quantified relationships web services indexing relationship performance. This is kind of along the lines of that previous one. Once you finished a relationship, you report it and get an analysis of what went right and what you need to optimize next time. I'm sorry, this is like a report card.
Yeah, this is debrief.
This is like a comment card left, that you filled out and left at the hotel.
Sure.
And now that this is what they're going to use as a way of improving, themselves or making things work better.
It's the debrief when you take your own info and look at it and you're like, huh.
It's an exit interview.
Right. I could have accelerated harder into that corner.
Right.
And I shouldn't have braked so soon. So okay, next time I know.
Right.
I kind of like that. You look at your icon results and you're like, I really slowed down right here.
Is this
and
all
judging by her data?
Is this all getting too scientific?
Oh, for sure.
And
we're taking the human out of being human.
Right.
We're taking the uncomfortable parts of relationships, the parts that need work, and removing them because we're becoming too lazy and wanting too much.
I agree. And it's one of those things where you're going to look at things now and say, well, shit, look at these numbers. They just don't bear out. We shouldn't even bother. Or it was your fault. See, these numbers demonstrate that.
For sure. I mean, we already do that as people, right? We don't like to blame ourselves. So we're already, if you're in an argument. Yeah, but now you have the data. Yeah. So you can put yourself in a relationship. If you're abusive, you can put yourself in a relationship where you're not causing maybe a ton of emotional and no physical abuse, but you're maybe smarter or a little bit quote unquote better. And so you just keep that person under your thumb by going, no, I'm not making it up. Yeah. Look at the data.
Right.
Like you do it with kids,
Right.
Hey, look, the teacher gave you a C. I'm not the one who gave you the C.
Right. I've got a PowerPoint presentation here illustrating in bar graph form how your performance in our relationship went down as the years and months progressed.
Yeah. What are you going to do to make it better?
So,
and then
So I'd like you to say goodbye. I'd like to say goodbye to you now, and please don't mess with the sex bot on the way in.
Here's a printable version of my junk. Just get out.
Crazy shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, just talk, people. Just go out, touch each other, do things to each other, and
don't be afraid of the work, no matter what it is. Don't be afraid of the work.
And
it's not always going to be pretty.
And you know what? Even though, because I had a girlfriend tell me this many years ago, relationships are hard work, she would say. And to a degree, that is absolutely true.
Sure.
But it shouldn't feel like a lot of work. It just sometimes is. And that was the difference. For her, it was a lot of like, we really got to like work. It's like, well, I'm not interested in a relationship where I have to spend so much time working hard to make something happen. There should be a natural flow here that's not occurring.
For sure. And it all depends on the definition you're using of work. Like I think of, like when I go ride my mountain bike and I ride up the hill, it's work. When I go down the hill, it's work. I mean, I'm working. I'm not just coasting. Mm-hmm. Versus, that miserable, you got to go clean up dead bodies today. And you're like, oh, damn, that's work. It's that
quite
like
a jump.
Yeah, well,
or like
some relationships are like that.
Let's sit down and break it all out. Let's get all our fucking documents out and work this problem and like all that stuff. When you're getting to that level and that's all that the relationship is about, that's a bad sign.
That's then a conflict. That's problem solving. That's not like you go to the gym, you put in your work. I guess maybe work isn't the right word.
Right. You're driving in your car to work and you're doing your Kegels. That's putting in work.
That's putting in work.
For the greater
putting in your time. Yeah. Don't be afraid of that.
That's right.
But it should definitely not be a chore. Maybe that's better. It shouldn't be a chore.
Right. That's what I meant. But
I don't know where I'm going.
No,
with
but that's
this.
what I meant when I said at first. It shouldn't feel like it's a lot of work. It should be something that you enjoy doing. And yes, there are parts of it you work at, but for the most part, it's fun.
Sure.
That's
the work
why
is
you're
fun.
in it.
Yeah. If you do something you love, you'll never work a day in your life.
Damn it.
That's
God,
right.
I don't have to talk to this girl anymore.
No wonder people are buying these freaking things.
I got to warn you, heavy pun alert coming in this story.
Okay.
It may sound like a bum idea, but a park in China is using facial recognition technology to dole out short strips of toilet paper in a high-tech experiment to wipe out thieves. All the TP in the restrooms at the Temple of Heaven Park in Beijing is now locked. That sounds like that was worded wrongly, and I know how you hate that when people word things wrongly, right?
Don't get me started.
Just kidding. It is now locked and dispensed by 6 machines that rely on facial recognition software to make sure no one takes more than their share of toilet paper. The machine only hands out about 2 feet of tissue, a crappy amount, some would argue.
Oh, gosh.
And by the way, I would too. I'm a TP abuser.
Yeah.
So I need plenty of TP, and it's got to be the fucking good shit. I want Charmin.
I'm a napkin abuser.
Oh, are you?
Mm-hmm.
Just hammer those things?
Oh, Jesus, you don't even know.
Yeah. Well,
I don't like being dirty. I don't like dirty hands.
well, then you must just have a hell of a time at a barbecue place.
Oh, watching me eat wings is hilarious.
Wings, you got to just go.
No, I don't.
You have to just keep eating until you're at a breaking point.
God, no. I
You
wipe
clean
in
after
between
every one?
each bite.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
You are so tedious.
See, these are the things that, like, if we just did this over text,
right?
You know, I'm like, I love wings. You're like, I love wings too. Let's serve up some butt slamming pie. And I'm like, let's do this.
And you're getting
and
up
then we
to
go
the
have
bathroom every
wings.
3 minutes to wash your hands.
Yeah, you use all my toilet paper, and I am I do use napkins, but I'm there. I have a pile of napkins bigger than my head.
Oh, that's funny. So when the wait staff comes over and says, "Would you like some extra napkins?" Oh yes.
Oh yeah. No, yeah.
Keep them coming. If that's insufficient, you have to wait. This is the best part. If the 2 feet of, which is not a lot, I'm going to say, 2 feet of tissue, if that's not sufficient, you have to wait 9 minutes to get more. Some locals say they fear Chinese government officials will use data gleaned from the machines to flush out dissidents. I love that part. But by the way, so do you think you go in for the facial recognition right away? Like you're like, hey, it's me, I'm only 2 feet, and then you sit down and shit, and then you do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be my thing. But again, this is the thing that kind of, you people are taking the humanity out of humans this way too. It's like, oh, you can't make your own decision of whether you want to steal toilet paper or not, or use it or not. We're going to tell you how much to use. We're going to eventually create an environment where you will learn to only use 2 feet.
Right.
Because it'll be such an inconvenience.
That or you're going to walk around with itchy butt all day. It's up to you.
Right.
Your call.
Right. I'm just going to take napkins in there.
You should. All those napkins you got from the restaurant.
Yeah.
An official said, this is the best part. An official said the park is trying to make things easier by upgrading from 1-ply to 2-ply tissue. In addition, people who require more than 2 feet of tissue can flag down a park employee. Quote, if we encounter guests who have diarrhea or any other situation in which they urgently require toilet paper, then our staff on the ground will directly provide them the paper. Because, when I'm having diarrhea, the first thing I want to do is get up from the toilet and go find a park ranger or whatever and say, excuse me, got the runs. Gonna need some extra TP.
Or even if going in and you're like, oh.
Yeah. Can you got to tell this person.
I guess if you're not, and you just go up to them and you're like, I got the runs. I need about 20 feet of toilet paper. And you can go in there and just enjoy yourself. You can sell it to the other people coming in. You're like, I only use 6 feet.
Every time you show up, the rangers are like, or the park people are like, that guy has diarrhea a lot. He needs to change his diet.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought that was pretty funny, but weird. So weird.
Yeah, it's bizarre. Again, that's the big brother stuff that freaks me out more than people just listening in. If I don't know what you're doing,
yeah.
If you're slowly changing the course of my life and my mind and I don't know it, that's okay. But if if I have facial recognition software to give me 2 feet of toilet paper.
Right. It's like, Neil, weren't you just in here 2 hours ago? Yes.
Yeah, I'm still got a hanger. I got a clinger.
I got a clinger. let me ask you this question, Neil. Do you enjoy the gentle nuzzle from a soft, tiny kitten?
I do.
We're really changing subjects quite a bit.
Yeah. Oh, am I supposed to use a kitten to wipe my butt with?
No,
I don't know where we're going with this. I do.
I've got good news. Get ready to spritz yourself with Demeter's, I think is how you say this, kitten fur is what it's called.
Oh.
Quote, now after 15 years of effort, Demeter has captured the olfactory essence of the warmth and comfort of that perfect spot just behind the kitten's neck. The scent of kitten fur is being sold in several Demeter products, including cologne, roll-on perfume oil, body lotion, shower gel, and a diffuser oil in case you wanted an entire room to smell like one giant kitten. Prices range from $6 for a half ounce of cologne to $39.95 for 4 ounces. Demeter develops and sells a wide range of scents, including more traditional fragrances such as jasmine and sweet orange, or peculiar ones like popcorn, earthworm, and fuzzy balls. Fuzzy balls is the whoosh of a freshly opened can of tennis balls. I am fucking on board for that. I love the smell of a freshly opened can of tennis balls. You know that smell?
Oh yeah,
it's great.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. That it's very chemical though, but it smells great.
Oh, it's like
chemical. The new car smell. You know, it smells great, but it's very chemical.
Yes,
I do like the popcorn. I am a fan of the popcorn.
So like heavily buttered popcorn, that smell?
Oh no, I use a hot air popper, just a raw popcorn.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I think this is interesting, like the cat smell. Like what if you have a dog that's really reactive to cats, and so you know a friend walks in that's wearing the cat smell, and the dog's just like, I am gonna rip your freaking throat off. It's like Fifi never acted that way. I don't know what's wrong.
Well, it's not like you have a pit bull or anything, so.
Right. Yeah, it's not no jaw strength at all in our dog.
It just has to smell like Mr. Chubb's, and then they're okay.
That's right.
Not it's particular cat scent. I mean, we're going to start getting to the point where you can get your own cat's scent.
Sure. Well, like now how you can have your own dog with DNA, and what is it? Cloned.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
See,
so you can just have the same dog over and over.
We're fucking with science too much here, I think. This isn't the first company to attempt to emulate the scent of a cat. Felicissimo.
Felicissimo.
It's a Japanese company, so it doesn't make sense to pronounce it that way. A Japanese mail order company
makes me happy.
In 2015 developed a fabric spray that smells like a cat's head, which is supposedly similar to baked bread. The company recently developed a lip gloss that is said to feel like a cat's wet nose.
Oh, God.
That would be
slimy.
Freaky.
Oh, God.
Can you imagine your wife kissing you with that? You'd be like, oh, get off.
Yeah.
So, what does a kitten's neck smell like? Demeter's Facebook fans said their cats smell like a number of different things, including honey, baby powder, and cinnamon spice bread, and a combination of newborn baby, a freshly baked loaf of bread, and the scent of home. At least one person suggested litter, dust, and cat spit.
So they put all this stuff in a blender and then just spray it on you or something?
I guess that's what it should be, like a spray tan. You just step through and get that scent just all over you. It's funny because we had 2 cats that are no longer with us, and my wife really liked
paper.
My wife really liked one of them more than the other, and she would always say, "I love her smell. She smells good."
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I smelled her, I was like, she kind of just smells like dust, like just kind of. It's not bad. It's just kind of like, you know. But she loved the smell of it, so I don't know this whole baked bread thing.
No. Seven's paws used to smell like corn chips.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was the weirdest thing, like tortilla chips.
Are you sure this isn't your brain?
It could have very well been. As soon as I said it, I'm like,
No.
This is not going to go well for me at all. So here's the thing about the smell of this cat and even the newborn baby smell and all that stuff. So now you buy a fake animal and now it smells real too. Or you get the fake baby doll and now it actually smells like a newborn baby.
Or to go back to, the fake baby is going to smell like a baby. You go to the sex bot thing, smell like your partner, or smell like a like a stripper, whatever.
Sure, wife passes away, and you're able to, to get her scent on the new doll. So it when you sleep, it's like you're sleeping next to that person. See,
this is all bad. All these things are like, it's preventing human interaction, and it's also preventing people from letting go. From moving on.
So you have the doll that smells like your wife, your dead wife, And you've become attached to it. Now you feel bad because you actually want to go out with your friends. So now do you buy a doll that smells and looks like you and put it in bed with the other doll?
This is how that colony starts again.
Yeah. And then you leave and then you come back and you're like, they're
Where'd they go?
making dinner. You're like, what?
I thought they would have taken off.
Yeah. They changed the locks on the door. Well, they changed the code because we're not going to have keys anymore.
Or you actually go out and want to go on a date. You're like, you know what? Maybe I should try to get out there with a normal human being. And then you come home, have her over for dinner or something.
What if they get so realistic when you meet somebody, you can't tell if they're real or not?
That's going to happen.
What's that? What's the thing from Blade Runner? Remnant? Is it Remnants?
Replicants.
Replicants. Never saw the movie, so I don't know.
It's a good movie, and they got the new one coming out soon.
Yeah, 2048.
But Replicants is one of those. And I mean, and that goes to that whole uncanny valley thing we've talked about before where, they're getting so close to human-like, but they're a little off, so they look really fucking weird.
Right.
Because they act really strangely.
Right.
But they look pretty close to human.
Their
Eventually,
eyes just track a little slower.
Yeah, their eyes do weird stuff. It's a lot of it's in the eyes. So, which you can order 14 different kinds of when you go to realdoll.com.
With your labia repair kit.
Your labia repair kit. So your wife said this to me.
Okay.
I'd already found it, but
Naked
it's
booby
funny.
Pics?
What's that?
Booby pics?
Yes. She sent me booby pics. Do you want me to share them back with you?
Twice I got caught in between saying pics and pictures. Pics. Pics.
Pics.
Yeah.
It's funny, though. It's almost like maybe listening to the show, she's now trained to look for these just jokes of a story.
Sure.
So do you ever stop, Neil, and
collaborate
ponder?
And listen?
You could do that.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're back with a brand new one. So do you ever stop and ponder what it would be like if Siri or Alexa, on the heels of last week's show,
right?
Poor Alexa Siri. If Siri or Alexa possessed the same ability to answer everyday questions but had a propensity for orgasms, was shaped more or less like a human woman, and was way more difficult to explain to your house guests. Do you ever stop and ponder that?
It's funny you bring this up because I was just thinking about this today.
I bet you were. In the drive home.
Yes.
If so, you may be interested in Barcelona-based engineer Sergi Santos' new robotic dolls. Here we go with Barcelona again. That's where they have the sex doll brothel.
Yeah.
What is going on over there?
Barcelona,
I'm coincidentally I'm moving to Spain.
Understand? Beautiful.
Right?
Yeah. The frickin' birds of Capistrano or whatever,
Something like that. Yeah. So called Samantha, the life-size dolls are designed to replicate sexual acts, but with artificial intelligence that means she'll respond to different touches by showing supposed emotional reactions. In a sense, it's a chat bot, but one with the added bonus, quote unquote, of having a body to go alongside the voice. Touch Amanda's hands and she'll say things like, "I love this."
Oh.
While kissing her or touching her mouth will yield a different response. Other body parts also behave accordingly. So she hates anal, so don't even try. Don't do that.
Yeah. You
Not
first.
You first. So it says, and occasionally she'll request songs on Pandora to improve the mood. Wow.
I believe I can fly.
Whether a robot that you have to seduce is a step toward a consent-oriented approach to sex dolls or a weirdly reductive, gamified version of a human relationship remains to be seen. Could it have hints of both? But Samantha is certainly a unique way of spending that $5,374 paycheck that's hanging around your bank account. Now, that's a good question, because we've talked about this before, about people playing out rape fantasies or essentially having unconsensual sex, non-consensual sex with a robot. So this is a way of, you got to work up to it. You got to put in a little effort before she's just going to give it up.
Yeah, so it's kind of taking the best part of these sex bots out of the sex bot.
Right, now you got to work.
Yeah.
Now it's not easy.
No.
So why would you do that?
Right.
Because maybe you got to work on your game. Maybe this allows you to, maybe this is a practice tool so that it's not so easy, because then when you go out in the real world and try to date somebody, they're not just going to lay down. And you stick
your finger in someone's mouth? Like this freak.
Did you see the video?
The picture. I didn't watch the video, but the picture is insane.
But he says, tools like Alexa are interesting, but the ultimate goal of everybody is to build something with a body and a brain, right? Santos says. I wanted to do something that would make, listen to this, this is the great fucking quote. I wanted to do something that would make my mother say wow when she sees it. Well, I think she's going to say wow, but it's going to be more like, wow, Sergey. Wow. Really? Yeah. It's going to be followed by really.
Yeah.
My mother never said that about any of the other things I showed her. Oh.
Oh, brutal.
She'd always say they were funny and then go off and do something else.
Is this guy in love with his mother? She's trying to impress his mom?
This is worse than me and Belinda Carlisle.
I was going to say. This mom's going to turn around, give this guy a red hat and go, why don't you go make America great again?
That is some crazy shit going on with his relationship with his mother. She used to never like my stuff. She never said wow. I'd show her my penis all the time. She'd never say wow.
So I built this robot that you have to have foreplay with to get to like you.
Wait, Mom, watch this.
I would stick my finger in her ear. Listen to what she says.
Without getting into what Freud would make of that rationale, Santos insists there's more to Samantha than simply cybercoitus. I've got a Samantha in the family home that can give philosophy quotes or health information, he continued. Over time, he thinks the robots will evolve to a more fleshed out, no pun intended, companion with the ability to link different touch-sensitive body parts to verbal or communicative cues, yielding all types of fun interactions. I watched the video.
I think this gentleman, I'm sure he's a nice person, but this is the beginning of the freaks and what they're going to do with these frickin' robots. Mm-hmm. It's going to get bad.
Well, and it's one of those where you think, is he been so influenced by the fact that things are going in this direction that this is now the mentality?
Yeah.
So he never had a chance.
Yeah.
You know? Because, I mean, how long has this been going on? He could have easily been into sex dolls from a long time ago. And now he's like, I could become an engineer and make these things like actually be real.
Right.
And then I don't have to go out and try to talk to a real woman.
And
I don't have to talk to my mother ever again.
That's right. But his version of reality, because obviously he thinks just sitting on the couch and sticking your finger in a woman's mouth is a really good idea.
Hey, that's how you get him turned on. Like, you just put your finger.
Is that where the on button is? It's the front tooth?
Like, you're just sticking your finger. Like, what are you doing? Is this how this works?
Yeah.
Oh, wrong finger?
It's gonna get weird. Maybe he's doing the smell my finger. Oh, look, smells like latex. Oh
God, really? Gross.
It smells like latex.
We talked recently about guys and the stupid things they said when we were kids. That would be one of them.
Yeah.
Smell my finger. So, you need to watch the video at some point. It makes it even worse.
I can
because
only
the
imagine.
way this thing talks, it doesn't move its mouth.
Oh.
You know?
How
and
creepy.
it's got these dead eyes like we've seen before. And it just sits there. It's kind of got, of course, it's got big tits, you know, because why would you make one with small ones? Its legs are kind of
the way it's sitting there is so awkward. Yeah.
You see how the legs are kind of apart in a way? Easy access, I guess. And he starts, this thing, the way it talks is so bizarre. Like he's like, see, I touched the hip. And it's like, I like that. But no mouth is moving.
Right. Like
and
Alexa, when you talk to him and it sounds like, okay, I can play that.
Right, exactly. It's very robotic. And, he talks about kissing him and stuff and how they would get reactions. Oh, man. I'm just glad. I thought he was going to start in on that in the video.
Yeah.
And as
just start making out with it.
I thought it was going to happen. And as the time started ticking down, I was like, oh, thank God. He's just going to talk about it and then be done. But
okay. What can I help you with? Mm-hmm. My dick, what's up?
Or I hope that when he puts his finger in her mouth, it knows to change to, why are you doing that? Oh, this guy is creepy. So I think this is a bad idea.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think we've established that.
It's going to get weird. Matador, this article and this insight, this development is right up your alley. Almost literally.
Oh, God.
Hackers can easily hijack this dildo camera and live stream the inside of your vagina or butt.
I'm sorry, did you say dildo camera?
Yeah. If you're using an internet-connected vibrator equipped with a camera that allows you to stream your pleasure.
Why?
Right to the internet, your intended viewers might not be the only ones watching.
And who would be your intended viewers?
So this is what's interesting to me about this. So you have a camera on your dildo and you're pleasuring, you're pleasuring yourself. Like what are you, like what part, like once it goes inside, what are you, like where's the
connection with your brain that somebody's watching to say that's now a sexual turn on?
Yeah. Like I get like, you know, when they do like the little, like the close-up shots of like, oh, here's the semen going up and it's like a science thing. And you're like, oh, that's interesting. That's how it works. But this is like, first of all, any homemade porn isn't going to turn out like what you think porn is going to, you know, what you think sex is isn't porn, because that's all
I had a
made.
girlfriend tell me that once. It's not. It doesn't look like you think it's gonna look.
It's all right. It's all shot for, you know. It's all made like any movie. It's, you know, like car accidents don't really go the way they go in a, you know.
Right.
Space travel is not going to be the way you see it in Star Wars. But I'm wondering, like, oh, hey, I was thinking about you today, Matador, and I know we've been dating for a while.
Right.
So I'm sending you a video
of the inside of my ass.
Of the inside of my butt. While I'm being pleasured. The sounds will be muffled. I'm sorry about that.
Well, that's the thing. You're not getting sound. You're not getting... There is nothing visual that connects with anything you normally do. Because you never stick your head up somebody's ass or vagina to look around.
Like
so how would that turn you on?
A video of them using the dildo might be a more turn on.
Absolutely. You could watch somebody pleasuring themselves and think that's, you know, could be a turn on for you. But being inside...
Yeah.
Staring at a bunch of, you know.
But hackers from a UK-based security firm, Pentest Partners, have found that it's trivially easy to hack into the Svacom slime eye.
Slime eye.
Well, it's not slime. But I like calling it the slime eye.
I think it should be slime eye.
A $249 Internet of Things dildo that has a small camera on the tip, allowing its users to stream a video to anyone of their choosing over the internet. However, if you're in Wi-Fi range of the dildo and can guess the password, which by default is 88s, you can watch the video stream. A bit more hacking, you can take control of the firmware and then connect it to it. You can connect to it remotely as well.
Right.
So your dildo can be hacked and hijacked.
Yes.
While you're using it, and then the inside of your vagina or butt can be displayed for all the world to see.
Okay.
Which to me wouldn't be so bad, because it's like, oh, what is that fleshy thing? It's not the person's face.
Right.
It's their donut-shaped cervix.
It could be very anonymous. It's the donut-shaped cervix. Hey, I know that donut.
I know that donut. Frickin' Krispy Kreme all over the place.
I mean, people are into weird shit, you know?
I know. A lot of people like to talk about freaking sex bots all the time.
Exactly, right? God, those fucking people. By the way, check out our bonus episodes at all times. But the only thing that makes sense to me at all as far as how this could be used as some sort of sexual turn on to people is if they had the power to like not ignite, you know what I mean?
Wow, like that pussy on fire.
They had the controls of the vibrator.
Right, which you can do also.
Right, so that makes a little more sense, because then you're doing something that's affecting someone else versus just staring into the abyss.
Right.
and imagining who that might be.
You're like, is this a Star Wars movie?
Well, that's the thing. Right, exactly. Is this Empire Strikes Back when he goes down?
What's going on?
You know, into the worm.
Yeah.
So it's so weird that this would be a turn on for people.
It's bizarre. I mean, it's especially for that price, because you can get one of the, you know, the iPhone internet controlled ones, which would make more sense. And like, oh, I've got a dildo with a camera. This could
be a waste of money. This could be a waste of money that you're saying for the slime eye.
I want people to hack into it, and it's like, what? We're in the underwear drawer again? Are they ever going to use this or what?
In the underwear drawer.
Yeah.
Wait, why is there a dog's tongue? What is that doing? What's going on?
Where'd the peanut butter come from?
I liked how they said that because of it's so vulnerable that people could just drive around looking for Wi-Fi networks that say slime eye.
Yeah.
I know it's not slime eye, but I have to.
It's got to be slime eye. Yeah. I like how they also, you know, tell you, oh, this isn't the first dildo to get hacked.
No, of course not.
You'd think people would learn.
Been?
But I saw that article and I immediately thought of you.
That is fantastic. Keeping with that theme.
Mm-hmm. Keeping with that.
I know you don't like condoms, but this might change your mind.
Okay.
Havana. I'm going to try to be very authentic here.
There you go.
Havana. Havana, Cuba's El Canal Winery. God, I can't even talk. Owned and operated by 65-year-old Orestes Estevez. That's a tough one to get out. And his family thrives thanks to an unconventional and specific practice: slipping condoms onto fermenting jugs.
Yeah.
That's a mouthful right there.
Well,
what base is that?
Fermenting jugs. Is that like you pleasured yourself on some jugs and then just let it sit for days, let it ferment?
But I think this is when you get caught in a rundown between second and third base.
Oh, that's not good.
At El Canal,
never good.
Estevez fills glass jugs with grapes, ginger, and hibiscus, and then secures a condom over the top of the glass neck. The condom slowly inflates with gas as the wine ferments and falls off once the process is complete.
It's happened.
I love it. Altogether, it sounds logistically graceful. Not the way I would generally describe putting on or removing a condom. Putting on a condom on a bottle is just like with a man, Estevez tells the Post. It stands up, the wine is ready, and then the process is completed.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Yeah.
The image of the process replicated 100 times, a room crammed with condom-top jugs, is both absurd and remarkable. But thanks to Estevez's ingenuity, his community enjoys an otherwise unaffordable pleasure. On average, Cubans earn $25 a month. And accordingly cannot afford the imported wine, which costs roughly half of that. If, however, you prefer fishing to winemaking, by the way, you'll be pleased to know that condoms make very handy floats for carrying bait. There's so many uses. They must be giving them out for free down there. Because
I was going to say, they must be cheap. Yeah.
I just love the fact that they're finding ways to use it for everything. But fermenting wine. I love that, though, that it gets firm, then it just falls off.
Yeah, it's like,
done.
We're good.
Ding.
We're complete. Our load is ready.
Our load is in.
There you go. Oh, that's too good. I think I'm going to have to try and ferment something in a bottle just so I can have a condom on the countertop and stuck on a bottle. So when Annalise comes home, she's like,
"I was gonna say, just have her walk into the garage and be like, what the fuck?"
And got to get like a bright green one that's ribbed with a French tickler at the end, so it's just insane.
It'll have your camera dildo sitting next to it.
That's right.
Camera dildo inside. You can see the wine being fermented.
That's pretty good.
Now that's something.
Yeah, and it could be sitting at a table with your sex box doll holding a glass, just waiting for you to.
All these things should converge.
Coming together.
That's what they're going to do next. They're going to have the camera on the dildo going inside your sex bot. Or actually, a camera on the tip of your finger going inside the sex bot's mouth.
Oh, God. Or there's going to be a camera inside the sex box. Sex box. Well, yeah, the sex box.
That too.
So you can watch yourself penetrate.
Oh, shit. Now that makes sense.
Yeah. Now that I can get behind. Literally.
You want to see yourself.
Yeah, like look at that strong monster. Look at that. Like
as you're going,
boy.
You're like, yeah, fucker, look at that thing. or then like partway through, you're like, oh no, it's going down. Come on, get it. We'll get it back. We'll get it back.
Don't look at me like that. Why don't you ever blink?
Why don't you ever blink? Shaking her by the shoulders. Blink!
Crack, an arm comes off. Oh, look, I'm still going. Yeah.
Holding the arm in the air.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's terrible.
Christ. Have you, Neil, ever impulsively blurted out, I love you, or something awkward right after you had sex?
Well, considering I have sex with
married?
my wife, yeah,
I
don't find it awkward. I don't tend to blurt a lot out after sex. Maybe like I'm gonna need change, but no, I haven't. Have you? Have you ever let that slip by accident before you were ready to say it to someone?
No.
I've said it getting off the phone with a friend before.
Yeah. I've done that. I've called my friend honey.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
God damn it. And he just right away. Oh, yeah, I heard it. You can't take it back.
But after no, I don't think I've ever blurted anything inappropriate out after sex.
Okay.
Or just
well,
anything not yeah. I'm gonna try though from now on.
do it.
Yeah. I'm gonna start
Just something totally random. LeGarrette Blunt. Like
I'm
right
gonna
after.
get that. You're right. I'm gonna get that name of kid's name, the weird kid's name. It'll be like
There you go.
Dweezil.
Mint Thin Diva. What was it?
Yeah, mint thin, honey crisp, honey wafer,
And she's just going, what?
golden graham.
You're ruining it, Neil. Anyway, if you do, anybody out there, blurt out awkward things the moment following sex, you can now blame it on science. New research published in the Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin has found that even just thinking about sex makes you more inclined to disclose things about yourself. The findings were actually the result of 3 separate studies, all of which used related methods. They each exposed participants to sexual stimuli, either consciously or subliminally, and then asked them to reveal a personal event to a stranger. The studies all found that thinking about sex made people more likely to reveal sensitive information about themselves. So sex is like truth serum. Like the second you have it, you're just like, I'll fucking tell you anything you want to know.
No, you're not pretty. No, I don't love you. I
That should be the opposite.
I live in my mom's basement. Well, truth serum.
Right.
Yeah. So you said all those things, and now you're
I
like,
guess if you did feel that way, you would say I love you. But yeah, it should be more like, oh, I'm using you to get to your friend or something like that.
Your sister's really hot. Yeah. Did I ever? Oh, I probably not, because this is kind of awkward. But when I think about sex, I get nervous in my own skin, and I have to hum to myself. So if I'm at work and I have a sexual thought, I'll find myself all of a sudden I'm humming.
Because you're afraid you're gonna get a boner in your pants?
No. I think it's one of those things like, wow, this is crazy. I've got to block out, like, make sure no one else can hear my thoughts. So I just start humming.
Oh, I hope everybody you know hears this show.
And I've done it since I was a little kid.
That is so bizarre.
Yeah. If I'm in the I'll be in the shower, because sometimes, the shower is a good place to relieve some stress, if you know what I'm saying.
Uh-huh.
And I'll just start, like, I'll be thinking about doing
it all goes down the drain.
That's right. And I'll start. I don't waste it. I've got achy joints, man. I'll start humming, and then that kind of kills the vibe. I'm like,
Do you ever, like, are you getting to that point or doing something and you accidentally hum? You're like, shit.
I don't know. I should ask Annalise if I ever hum during sex.
Or is that like a holding off?
Yeah, it's like I'm humming baseball. I'm sure everybody does it though. And it's not like I hum like a song. It's just like random humming. I'm just like.
I thought it would be funny if you were humming "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." The third study went further and found that after unloading their secrets, people were more likely to want to continue interacting with their partner. In other words, they've proved that talking about your most embarrassing childhood mishaps makes you feel closer to someone. So
we're closer right now because I told you about my humming.
Exactly. That's what.
Time to have sex, Matt.
Oh no. I'm still trying to get used to the leg hair thing. So why do we care about being closer with those we're sleeping with? Well, humans are very difficult to raise. Historically speaking, we've done our best to keep a co-parent around for as long as we can to help out. Still, just because it's science doesn't mean it'll be any less painful the next time you impulsively reveal that you once peed your pants on a roller coaster after you hooked up with someone. Sorry. Interesting study. Now, Neil.
Yeah.
People like to take sex to the next level by boning in inappropriate places.
The fear of getting caught. The stimulation of doing something, quote unquote, naughty in a public place.
Right. Or somewhere where you shouldn't be doing it.
That's right.
Nearly 60% of people in 2004 admitted to having sex outdoors. But why?
Why? When there's a perfectly good bed inside.
Exactly. But
zero is one of those things.
This is what Zero barks when he
thinks about sex.
Yes, when he thinks about sex, he starts barking.
Which is it's kind of scary because I think Annalise is home, so he's barking thinking about sex with
no.
Her. Yeah.
So there's four. They said they list 4 places that people just keep banging in. Also, I'll run through them. Number 4 is church.
Yeah.
When you think of church, do you think sanctuary? More like my bone to bury and then high five your wiener.
I like to have my high five my wiener about 100 times in a row.
It's more of a handshake, really. I'll assume the answer is yes and move on. Your desire to profane your God or someone else's by flogging your pope is not unique. It's pretty damn popular. Church?
Yeah, I mean, I hope it's not being done like, screw you, church. I think it's just like, oh, there's nobody in here. Let's do it.
Like right in the pew?
Pew.
or in the confessional.
Ooh,
yeah. There you go. Now we're talking.
Right on the tabernacle.
Or in the sneaky priest room in the back behind the altar.
There's enough sex that goes on in there. Happy Easter, everybody.
Yeah, no shit. Easter is Sunday. So then number 3 is school.
School, yeah.
Which makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It actually talks about teacher-student. We're not going to talk teacher-student. We're just going to talk about student-student. It says, students getting busy at school is a lot easier to explain than teachers. For one, it's a place where you're surrounded by peers, some of whom you may be attracted to. It makes more sense in a primal hormonal sort of way to be all fired up during Spanish class. Muy caliente are the loins. They got real clever with this fucking writing.
Yeah.
When you're a teenager in love or more likely in lust, school's the perfect mix of opportunity and rebellion when it comes to getting sophomorically freaky. I don't think I ever had that opportunity to really do anything like that when I was in school. I don't think that opportunity ever presented itself. I don't know about you.
I did enjoy the dugout when I played baseball.
There you go.
Yeah.
Number 2 is work, which for you would be real interesting.
Yeah.
Because that's outdoors.
Yeah. Yeah.
And with guys.
Right. Well, hey, who are we to judge each other?
True. That's true.
If you think about it, I played on a team of baseball with guys. I didn't say who it was with.
That's right. You were in the dugout.
It was a good time. There were a lot of high fives.
A lot of extra innings.
That's right.
Let's get back to this baseball. That's
right.
And then finally, number 1. Did you see what number 1 was?
I am looking right now.
Keep scrolling.
Oh, I froze. Oh, what?
Cop cars.
How's that?
I have no idea. But what it says is, cops, you may notice, are super into sex at work. Probably because they have the freedom to travel around on their own and they carry handcuffs. They're generally a picture of the highest level of authority most of us encounter on a day-to-day basis. And let's be honest, a lot of people like someone in uniform. Plus, if you can get out of a formal charge for a crime by offering a blowy, chances are you're going to take that option. But it talks about more like the getting out of it, like cop perp situation, but it also does mention cops on cops.
Gotcha.
Which, that is something I heard more of recently, where like male and female, like partners or whatever, or male and male or whatever, they'll like go fucking sneak off somewhere when they're out, on patrol, and just fucking bang out in the car.
There's a very high divorce rate and a very high cheating rate amongst cops.
Weird. Is it just because of the intensity, or is it the long hours?
That's what they say. They say it's because a lot of most cops aren't married to other cops, and a lot of civilians, let's say, don't really understand the stresses of the job and what goes on. And what happens for a lot of cops is because they deal with so many people breaking the law, they start having a really difficult time trusting people. So all of a sudden they start like treating their spouses like, oh, well, no, you're lying. You're doing this. You don't understand. And the spouse is like, what the hell's going on?
Look, just because my name is Liar does not mean I'm lying.
You named me, damn it. Yeah. So so cops have a tough time with that.
Huh. I just thought that was interesting. Of all the places. I mean, church is sure, I guess.
Yeah.
School and work makes sense, but fucking cop cars.
I wonder, does the Buddhist temple count as church too? You think people are getting down in the Buddhist temple?
I think it's any religion.
Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, and then boom, right in the butt.
Right in it. Yeah.
right in it. I mean, why not?
Sure, why? Thanks again for listening to this bonus episode. We'll be back next week with more bonus stuff. Again, you can find us at reasonsareseveral.com. You can talk to us on Twitter at reasonsare and at angelsfreak7. Don't forget to tell a friend about the show, and we'll be back next week. See ya.